Hey boys, welcome to the NinjaNamedJay channel, and another week, another episode of The Last of Us. So, last week's episode was a bit of a fucking dud. That shit was fucking terrible. So we can only go up from here. Well, episode 6 did have its moments. I am a bit conflicted about it. But as always, first we're gonna go through the plot. I'll give my interjections here and there. Then at the end, I'll be more thorough with my review of the episode. So the episode starts off with a flashback. And spoiler alert boys, the whole episode's a fucking flashback. But this flashback takes place during Joel's and Tommy's childhood. And you know, both of them, they're like sitting in the kitchen, in the living room, and you know, they're talking about something. They're like, yo, we're fucked. You know, when dad comes back, we are fucked. Little teenage Joel, he's like, I'm gonna take the blame for you, little bro. You know, Tommy, I got you. And then their dad comes home, and their dad is played by one of the dudes from Better Call Saul, which I noticed like immediately. I haven't seen the series, but I just know who he is, right? You know, they both sit down and they start talking, and their dad starts telling a story about how when he was a kid, when he was like 10 years old, he stole a candy bar from a store. And his dad made him bring it back and apologize to the owner. And then when they got home, the dad, you know, Joel's granddad, beat the fuck out of him. Apparently it was really bad, you know, had his jaw wired shut for like 2 months. Crazy. Then Joel's dad starts talking. He's like, you know I discipline you. I know, you know, I put my hands on you a little bit. And sometimes I might go too far. But I never go that far. And I always said to myself, I'm gonna be better than my dad. And I hope when you have kids one day, Joel, you'll be better than me. So yeah, that was a good scene. That scene alone was better than the entire previous episode. Let's fucking be honest, boys. Like, every dad has that talk with his son. You know, I'm pretty sure my dad's given me that talk before. It's just something every dad and son goes through. The next flashback takes place on Ellie's 15th birthday. And this takes place a couple months after they arrive in Jackson. And in the scene, Joel and Seth, you know, base King Seth, they're making some sort of trade. Joel exchanges some Legos, and Seth, you know, he exchanges something secret, something important. And then we transition to Joel, and he's making a fucking guitar, and he gifts it to Ellie for her birthday. You know, she's a big 15-year-old, and she is of course ecstatic about it, and she makes Joel play it, and he, you know, he's doing good on the guitar, but Pedro does not have a good singing voice, that's for fucking sure, boys. Then we cut a year later to her 16th birthday, and Joel takes her on an excursion. You know, they're out in the forest, very, very beautiful scenery by the way, and they're walking, and Ellie sees something very fucking cool. She sees like this dinosaur statue, and she's like, oh my god, oh my fucking god. And Joel's like, you know, that's not it. You know, it's your fucking birthday, we're gonna celebrate. And he takes her to this museum, and they're in the space section, and there's this like, and there are these planets everywhere and shit. And, you know, she's fucking around, turning it and stuff. And then she puts on this helmet, you know, spacesuit helmet. And then she starts laughing as an astronaut. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty sweet scene. It's a very sweet moment. You know, it's almost like they are father and daughter. But next year, it doesn't go as well. Then we, of course, cut to her 17th birthday. And Joel's walking up to her room, and he hears some commotion. Who's she talking to? You know, he knocks on the door, opens up. Ellie is in bed with a bitch. She is getting some fucking birthday sex. And Joel's like, what the fuck's going on? Who the fuck are you? What the fuck? And, you know, the girl she was fucking, she skedaddles off. But before she leaves, she takes this tattoo gun. And he's like, yo, what's that? And then Ellie's like, I got a fucking tattoo. And he's like, oh my fucking god, what the fuck is this about, dude? Why do you have a tattoo? And by the way, the bitch she was fucking, she was in the previous episode when they were on patrol. I think it was the first, maybe second episode. So yeah, she was getting some pussy. We have a bit of contrast between these scenes, you know. The first couple years were nice and sweet. They had a good relationship, but now things are getting a little strained. She's getting a little older, you know, she's going through puberty. You know, it's Bella Ramsey. She obviously went through, you know, pretty late puberty. So it makes sense for Ellie to, you know, get a little bitchy in her later teenage years. So yeah, Ellie got a tattoo of like a moth. And then Joel, he goes to that therapist bitch, you know. And he's like, if someone got a tattoo of a moth, what does that mean? And then, you know, the therapist bitch, she goes, oh, like a butterfly, that represents, you know, life. But a moth, that represents death if you believe in that shit or whatever. So, Ellie's going a little emo, it seems, and this concerns Joel deeply. He's like, oh fuck, you know, what's her problem? But then we cut to Ellie's 19th birthday, and Joel takes her on her first patrol. And they're out in the wild, and it's very beautiful. We got a lot of very beautiful shots of them in the wilderness on some horses. But you know, while they're chilling on patrol, having a good time, Joel gets called on his walkie-talkie. And they're like, yo, someone needs some fucking help. Go and save them. Go and save them, guys. Then Joel's like to Ellie, go back, go home. And then she's like, I'm not your fucking daughter. I'm your patrol partner. Like, what a fucking bitch. Fuck off. So he's like, fine, let's go. Then they like climb down this rock face or whatever. And then they find this guy, Eugene. And they're like, yo, are you fucking good, dude? And he's like, no. And Joel's like, fuck, we need to kill him, we need to shoot him. But Ellie's like, no, he's got time. Let's bring him back to his wife. And his wife is the therapist, by the way. And then Joel says to Ellie, you know, go get the horses, bring them down here, and then we'll go back. And Ellie agrees to this, but she says to Joel, promise to me, Joel, that you won't fucking kill him. And Joel promises, he's like, you know, I'm not gonna fucking kill him, we're gonna bring him back to Jackson. So Ellie, she goes back on her way, she goes to try and retrieve the horses. You know, Joel's walking with this guy, and then they go to this, like, clearing of sorts. You know, this little clearing that's overlooking this lake. Very fucking beautiful, by the way. And instantly I know what's happening. And I think Eugene knew what was happening. Behind Eugene's back, Joel points his gun at him, and he's like, yo, I can't have you coming back to Jackson, it's not fucking safe. You've been bitten, and you know what I have to do. And Eugene, he's like, yo, you're going back on your word. I just want to fucking see my wife for one last time before I die. I need to see her. And then Joel does this really fucking corny speech. He's like, if you love her, you'll be able to see her in your mind. It was just very fucking corny. And then Eugene, he starts thinking really fucking hard, overlooking this, you know, beautiful lake. And he's like, I see her. And then Joel fucking, you know, pops him in the back of the head. And Ellie must have heard the gunshot. She comes down with her horses to the clearing. And she is fucking mad as fuck. Joel tries to convince her that he had to do it, but she does not believe him. And then they start making their way back home. So they're back in Jackson, and they're meeting with the therapist bitch. And Tommy's there as well. And Joel's like, you know, he took it like a champ. He loves you. He was so fucking brave. He took himself out as well, by the way. And then Ellie, the fucking bitch, she fucking stitches on Joel. What the fuck? She's like, no, that didn't happen. Joel fucking shot him. Joel killed him. He didn't even let him come back to see you. And Ellie goes walking off. And she was mad as fuck. She was crying. She had like tears of frustration as well. And mind you, before the scene even started, before they went on patrol, Ellie was in her room. She was like, you know, rehearsing, talking to Joel about what happened in Salt Lake. You know, rehearsing to herself. I want to know the truth. Did you fuck up? Did you, you know, kill the people who could have saved us? So yeah, Ellie is pretty fucking mad at Joel. She's pretty pissed. Because she's starting to suspect, you know, she's starting to know what happened at Salt Lake City. But yeah, now we have the final flashback of the episode. And this one takes place 9 months after her 19th birthday. And it takes place at the dance at the end of, I believe, episode 1. And we get Joel's perspective of what happened on that night. So yeah, he's chilling with Tommy and his wife. Then all of a sudden, you know, he hears Seth and Ellie arguing, as well as Dina. And he's looking and he hears, you know, Seth call them a bunch of dicks, runs over, pushes him to the fucking ground. And oh my god, I forgot how much of a fucking bitch Ellie is. You know, you guys probably remember what happened in episode 1. She's like, you know, I had this, I can handle myself. Fuck off, Joel, just fucking leave me alone. And, oh, what a fucking bitch, man. Fuck her. But yeah, then we get Joel on his porch, playing with the guitar. And then they finally have the fucking talk. Ellie finally mentions to Joel, you know, what the fuck happened? And don't you fucking lie. Tell me exactly what happened. You know, Joel's weeping. He's telling the truth. He tells the truth. He's like, yeah, you know, I killed them, but I had to save you. They would have killed you to create this vaccine. And, you know, she's crying as well. And on her face is a mixture of sadness and anger. And she's like, that was my purpose. I needed to die to save the world. And then Joel's just like, you know, I love you. I can't have that happen. And this was a very beautiful scene. And then at the end, I'm paraphrasing, Joel's like, I'm going to have to live with that decision for the rest of my life. And then Ellie's like, I don't think I forgive you, but I can try. You know, then that scene ends. Very beautiful fucking scene. Great acting. You know, these last couple episodes, I think we all forgot how good Pedro Pascal was for this series. He was fucking carrying it. He was great this episode, especially with the last scene. You know, he's crying, he's sad. It was great. You know, Bella Ramsey, she was okay. As always, she could kind of work on her face. Because, you know, for me, a lot of acting is done with the face. Not the delivery, not the tone of voice, not hand gestures, it's the face. The face conveys emotion. And her like, angry, sad face, it was just... you know, I'm putting pictures up on screen. It was kind of bizarre. You know, she could work on that, but, you know, great scene. For the outro, you know, the last scene, we have Ellie walking back to that theater that was staying in Seattle. You know, seemingly after she fucking destroyed that bitch from the last episode, the Asian bitch. And yeah, the episode ends there. So yeah, as I said at the start of the video, I'm a bit conflicted on this episode. On one hand, you know, it was pretty good. No complaints, no scenes were bad. But, you know, on the other hand, I feel like the constant, you know, the episode was an entire flashback. It was just full of flashbacks. I think it kind of messes with the pacing of the season. Because, you know, as much as I did not like the last episode, you know, coming out of it, I was thinking, you know, okay, there's 2 more episodes. And they're going to be action-packed. You know, Ellie, she's going to go get her lick back. She's going to start, you know, she's going to go on a fucking rampage. She's going to kill some motherfuckers. You know, but I found out today, nope. We're not seeing that. We're saving all that for the season finale. We're going to have a bunch of flashbacks. But the good thing about the episode, it does answer some questions that I had about the series. Because I was just gaslighting myself the whole time. I'm like, did Ellie always have that fucking tattoo on her arm? Am I tripping? I was like, did she get that sometime in the first season? I don't remember that. And also with the therapist lady, she would always bring up how Joel killed her husband. And I'm like, fuck. When did that happen? Was that in Salt Lake? What's that about? But I'm glad this finally got solved, because I was feeling like a fucking idiot. Like, I thought I was totally misremembering the entire first fucking season. I was going insane a little. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Did I miss something? Did I miss a fucking episode in the first season? But no. But no, we have these micro questions that finally got fucking answered. But yeah, a pretty fucking decent episode, especially compared to the last one. You know, as I mentioned before, these last episodes have really been missing Joel. Because Pedro Pascal, he brought quality to the show. And this quality has been missing in the last couple episodes. This is probably the last time we'll see him. Maybe we'll see him in another flashback, who knows. But yeah, it was cool to see him one last time. You know, next week, season finale. So I guess they're gonna jam-pack a bunch of fucking shit in the last episode, since they couldn't do it in this one, because it was a whole fucking flashback episode. You know, Ellie, she's gonna go confront Abby. We're gonna see some cool fucking shit. Oh my god, I didn't even fucking realize it. We didn't even see Isaac as well. So I guess Jeffrey Wright's only gonna be in 2 episodes. They better fucking bring him back in the fucking last episode. Otherwise, there was no point bringing him up in the previous one. You know, the one a couple fucking episodes ago. You know, if he's not in this, I'm gonna be mad. But I feel like we'll see him. So yeah, pretty excited for the next episode. I think it's gonna go fucking crazy. It's gonna be insane. Hopefully, it'll be the best episode yet. Thank you guys for watching. Last video got no fucking views, but fuck it. You know, we're still bowling. That episode fucking sucked anyway, don't watch that. My previous review, the one before that one, 1.4k views. I'm eternally grateful. Big things on the fucking way, boys. Big fucking things. You know, next week I think is the new Wes Anderson movie. Or maybe it's this week, I don't even fucking know. Next month is gonna be a big fucking month, okay boys? Trust me, trust me. But yeah, next week is the last week of my weekly fucking reviews, boys. Get fucking amped. Get fucking excited. But you know, I've done enough yapping. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Peace.